All right, this is Mike Durr, Kingwood Mortgage Guy, and I am here with Joe Salas. Joe Salas is in the dead heat of battle right now and at an inspection. And if his sound works, we may be able to learn something or visualize something that we hadn't seen before. But we are here with Better Credit, Better Home, and it's our weekly podcast that we do. And just wanted to thank anybody that's there. We appreciate you showing up. Joe, talk to me. Where you? What the heck are you doing out there, man? It's hot outside.
I'm out here in Grangerland, over off of 3083 and 242. So I'm out in the country. I don't even know if I have a good enough signal to come through. Hopefully I do.
Yeah, you're coming through good now. Oh, then as soon as I said that, your picture image just left. Well, let's see if he comes back. Grangerland. I have no idea where that is. Well, all right. So in the meantime, uh, even though Joe is not with us right this second, I have a sense that he might be back, but and I appreciate him trying. So what we're going to do today is we're going to look at the headlines. We're going to talk about what's going on in the real estate community, particularly here in the Houston metro area, Kingwood, Woodlands, Sugarland. I mean, I could say 14 different names and all, but it's basically the Houston metro area. And that's what we talk about. Our focus is to focus on helping people make good decisions about whether it's a good idea to buy a house now or to wait. And wait, let's see if we're gonna get Joe back in here. Let's see. I see him. Add the stream. There he is. All right. We lost you and then now you're back. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but I don't know if I have good signal out here. I'm out in the middle of the country in one of these new developments doing a new
Ah,
home. Can you hear me?
yeah, we're hearing you now. You were coming through fine, and then all of a sudden you just went away. So I don't know what's going on out there. It must be ghost out there.
Yeah, unfortunately, I wanted to kind of show some people what I look at in inspections real quick, but it doesn't seem like I have good enough quality internet connection with the signal that I have. So unfortunately, I may have to just be a audience member today, Mike.
All right. Well, if you can pop in, or if you have a comment about anything, obviously I'd love to get your feedback on it. I reserve you as one of my peers and people that I trust, and I appreciate you. So if you can hang with us, great. But you're not going to bother us. If you have something particularly you wanted to show us, then just rock on. All right, just show it. What I
Yeah, no worries, no worries. Signal seems to be a little better now. I'm in a new home, and it's important to get new home inspections. Showed up today. The seller is supposed to close later on this week, and there's no AC in this house. So I'm sure that would have been caught at final walk, but it's important to have inspections. Even the big things and the little things get caught.
Oh my gosh, no air conditioning? That's ridiculous. So is that, I mean, you don't put the air conditioning in last, do you? That's something that you should have been building the whole time.
Yeah, the installation, the rough in is what they call it of the AC, happens during construction, during the rough framing, etc. There, I think I haven't gotten into the actual appliance itself, but I think it either doesn't have power up here to the fan in the attic, or something's wrong with the unit itself. So I'll leave that to the AC guys. My job is to identify that it's not working, and then get other people to work on the specifics of why.
Man, that's tough. Tough when you're out there inspecting it and it's got to be at least 90 degrees with about 90% humidity.
Oh, it's probably over 100 in this house right now.
All right. Well, you needed to take a sauna today. So, I mean, there you go. How far a drive was it out there?
Yeah, like I said, unfortunately, I'm not getting too good of a signal. I kind of wanted to show you a couple of things that I found, but again, an inspection on a new home is important. I'm finding things from roofing to plumbing to electrical. all of these things, especially for first time home buyers buying a new home. Those are important because you can just pretty much give the list to the builder, and they'll go about correcting these things. With a pre-owned home, it's a little bit different process, but still an inspection is important, doing a pre-owned home as well.
Yeah, and on a new home or a new build, you don't expect those kind of problems. You expect that the builder would have his own checklist that would go through that stuff, and they tend to get a little sloppy, don't they?
Yeah, I've made my living over the last 8 years following up after a builder who's may or may not have a checklist.
And even if they do have a checklist, the people that are interpreting it may not have great interpretation skills. So I get that. Okie dokie. Well, do you have anything you want to show us before I go on to my little presentation stuff?
I had to run upstairs to this 100-degree second floor level to get a good reception. So I think if I moved, I probably would lose you like I did when we first started. So I appreciate the time today. Unfortunately, like I said, the signal's not as good as I wanted to. I had the electrical panel opened up. I was going to show you all a couple of things, but I'll be online next week for sure. Hopefully with a good internet signal.
All right, good deal. Thanks, Joe. Good to see you. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over here, and there goes Joe. Okay, Joe, buddy, we'll see you next time. And don't get too hot in there. Let's see. I got to go back all the way. I was going through this. All right, so this is what we're going to talk about today, and I'm going to go through this stuff quickly. Obviously, we've got to have a little humor, and what I think is funny, you may not, but that's just okay. I'm going to talk about a little bit about raising your credit score and one of the issues that we have with collections. And I like to get something that's current, so I'm going to show you that. Housing supply, well, bottom line is there's not enough homes. We're going to talk about that. Buying homes, if you can do it. I've said that multiple times, but right now there's the possibility that there are some valid concerns about buying a house right now. And it pains me to say that. I obviously tend to be full bore thinking that buying a home is a good thing to do pretty much most of the time or all the time. But right now there are some people, some smart people that are saying, you know what, it may not be. We're going to be transparent and just tell you what they say. This is one, I've got an article here that talks about, all right, here it is, luxury mobile homes. No, that's not my humor for today. It's a real deal, luxury mobile homes. So we'll talk a little bit about what they're doing. Top search term on Google this week was home. And I thought that was kind of interesting. Rates have gotten better this week. And particularly today was a good day on the rate and bond market. So that indicates that things could be getting better for rates. I sure hope so. And then I'm always going to talk about the lock and shop program that we do as mortgage brokers. We tap into some of the lenders that are very innovative. They're doing cool things. And in this particular case, because it's been so darn hard to get a contract on a house, there are lenders out there that will allow you to lock in a rate for up to 90 days while you're out there looking. Now, what happens on this is that you be secured that if, like rates, let's say they're at 5.25%, and you lock today, now you have 90 days to secure a home and close on it. Well, if rates go up, you're safe because you've got that 5.25% interest rate. If they go down, we get rid of the lock and shop and we go for what's on the immediate market. Now, my lenders aren't going to like that I said that, but my job is to take care of the consumers and the clients that I have. And so that's what we would do. And it seems like more and more of the lenders are getting their mind around lock and shops, and where there was one, then there was two, and now there are three. And so a lot more people are doing that because they know that's the way to secure the business that we give them, and we give them because you give the business to us. So anyway, so that's enough of that. We're going to talk about going this. Here's my funny today. I thought it was funny. Anyway, here's a guy who some of you guys may not even know who this is. I didn't even think about that. He says, ironically, I'm now filthy rich. And this is from Mr. Clean. And if you ever watched TV in years ago, I don't know, he may still have advertisements on there, but Mr. Clean was a thing. And ironically, I'm now filthy rich. So I thought that was maybe that's the way this session is going to go, as a play on words. Uh, Luxury mobile homes. I still think that's funnier than this little cartoon here. So this section, I'm going to talk about this page on this credit report. And there's two things going on with this guy. And it's not unusual either. He's got, if you look here, he's got disputes and he's got collections. So he's disputed the collections. So there's two things in play here, and I'm going to explain this to you, and you'll go, like, we don't care about that. But my job is to teach you a little bit about it and how you treat your credit. Let me tell you, the more you know about these type of things, the better it's going to help you. So the first thing that happened is the guy ran out of money, couldn't pay his debts, and some of the creditors that he had sent him to collection. That's a different entity. That the collection people are portrayed as mean and nasty, and they're probably worse than that. These are guys that collect for a living. They're not very friendly, and they aren't very honest either. They'll lie to you as quick as they'll look at you. So you got these collection companies out there, but they are very specific rules that they are supposed to follow. And some do and some don't. The reason that you file a dispute against a collection company is because they don't always follow the rules. If they don't follow the rules, and there are about 60 different rules that they must have done before they can actually put credit on your credit report, then they have to take it off. They've got to remove that line of credit. So it's a battle between the collections and the disputing company. And a good dispute company or a credit restoration company will stay after them until they force the creditor to remove that item. So it's a good thing to do when you're fixing your credit, right? But underwriters learned a while back, a couple years, 3 years, I don't know when it was, but when you put a dispute on a credit line of credit, maybe that's the better way to say it, what it does is it puts like an invisible layer over the scoring algorithm that affects your score. So this collection would not have effect on this credit score. Okay, so that would be a good thing if you were in fact a borrower who had this collection on his credit. It wouldn't show up on your score. Well, the underwriters got wise to this, and the underwriters said, okay, you can't have that dispute on there, or we'll have to penalize you in some form or fashion. In some cases, what they say is that if the number of disputes are over $1,000, and what you have to do is you have to look at these numbers here, and you can see that these are obviously these collections, and they're all disputed, are over $1,000. Then if we're going to take it that way, we're going to reduce the debt ratio and do what's called a manual underwrite. It's maybe way too much information for you, but I just want to explain it real quickly and I'll be done with it. So the way you can get out of that is you can do one of two things. You could pay down the collection, and you would have to pay two of these down to get below, I think this is actually a duplicate. So you'd pay two of these down to get below $1,000, then you wouldn't have a problem, right? And the best thing I like to do, particularly if the dispute is over 2 years old, if it's over 2 years old, then you can remove the dispute. It's pretty easy to call a creditor up and remove the dispute. Then you're done. And that they now, depending on, it does show on your credit and it could affect your credit. But here's the trick. If the collection is more than 2 years old, more than 2 years after this, there's a designation here called a DLA, that's date of last activity, then the effect of that collection on the credit is pretty much dissipated into nothing. So it's being able to know about that kind of very detailed stuff that allows us to navigate these credit reports to determine what's going to be the best path for somebody to go along so that they can improve their credit and get loans, okay? Because in this particular case, if this guy has to pay, like the other part of it is, and this is the last part, if his collections are over $2,000, then there has to be an attribution of at least a 5% payment against each one of these collection debts. Okay, if he pays one off and that puts him below 2,000, then they don't have to worry about it. So all those little tricky rules there. That's why you want to deal with somebody that's a credit bona fide expert and knows all these rules and has fought maybe a bazillion battles. But anyway, that's just a little bit about the credit. I think it's important to talk to guys. A lot of guys that I do business with are credit challenged in some cases, and we just try to make the best out of it. And so that's what that's about. Maybe too long on that time. Okay, so question, is Houston real estate in a bubble? And that's a big question that we get consistently. And this was an article that was written on April the 4th. Of course, it's now June the 7th. So in a month, or actually 2 months, this could have changed, but I don't think so. But it says this: unlike other parts of the country, Houston is not in a bubble. Housing prices continue to stay positive and don't appear to be going down drastically anytime in the near future. The best advice I have for first-time buyers is to get pre-approved for your loan. Okay, so that is, and I look at that. Came out. I got this off of one of the mortgage-backed security deals that looks at the real estate stuff. So this isn't stuff that I'm making up. It's just stuff that I'm sharing with you as headlines. So I put this as maybe part of the funny part too. Sitting on the fence. I think I had this same slide last week. Well, sitting on the fence. Here's something that's kind of interesting. This is the luxury mobile homes slide, and what they do, or what they're planning to do, and what they've done in some places already. I think there are like 6 areas across the United States where they've actually done this luxury mobile home development, if you will. I started to say mobile home park, but that wouldn't do it justice. It's a development, and this is going to be coming to Texas, and they've got plans for, gosh, I want to say 4,200 acres for a development. And what they're doing here is, you see the parking. This is like a resort area housing. You got a swimming pool. You got probably a basketball court over here and some other fun stuff here and there. And then if you look back over in this top section back here, those look like what could be, I guess, luxury mobile homes. And the reason that they're doing something like that is because the big reason is there's a shortage of homes. There's not enough homes out there for the demand that's out there. And there could be a lot of people that would be looking just for this. Now, from what I understand, this is a gated community of luxury mobile homes. So again, mobile homes generally are not considered as luxury. I'm sure that the homes can be very nice. As a matter of fact, I've seen some that are very nice. I think that the price range that goes into these, there's some guidelines that go into this mobile development. I think the home has to be somewhere between $80,000 and $150,000, and then you rent or lease the lot that the home goes on. And of course, the very specific criteria, and I forget exactly all that they had in the article, but it was kind of interesting. And what it does is it shows that people out there are really putting their brain in work to figure out how they can fix this problem. I mean, it is absolutely a brutal problem for people that want to buy homes, not be able to find the homes, and have to go to 15 or 20 different offers and lose and lose and lose. And maybe they get lucky, maybe they get called back. It's just a market that's got to change. And I know that the builders are doing everything they can to build houses for the demand that's out there. And what's going to happen is people are going to be moving out further and further from the suburbs into the country, which is not a bad thing. But I do tell you that there just seems like for every single house, there's 15 or 20 people that want to buy it. So anyway, interesting solutions. I hadn't heard of that in a while, so I thought it was good. So for house for sale, for rent, I still think, and this is a message that I will share with everybody out there, if you have family members that might want to sell, I mean, everybody knows this is a really good time to sell, and this could be a really good time for you to buy a friend or a family member's house. And if you do that kind of thing, there are some logistics involved, but I'd love to be able to help you. We're doing, I bet, 2 or 3 of them right now. And what it ends up doing is it ends up taking away the hassle of trying to win the opportunity to buy a house. So just be aware that if you've got family member like that, you may have grandma, or you may have Uncle Bill or Uncle Roy or Aunt Susie that might be thinking about moving somewhere else, somewhere where they're going to be closer to their family, and they may have a house that's ready for you. So just saying, keep that on your radar. It's helping a lot of people, and we're seeing more today than I've ever seen before. And so here, this is reasons you shouldn't buy a house. And that's right, should not buy a house. If you're thinking of buying a house, there are at least 10 good reasons not to buy one. And here are some of the reasons. This isn't 10, but first off, if you don't have a down payment, it may not be a good idea to buy a house. It's probably a good idea to wait and save. A minimum down payment of 3% or 3.5% is not that high a ladder to climb. So having bad credit, well, let me tell you, you can still buy a house with tough credit. There are minimum standards, and obviously I think I'm a pretty good person to talk to about that, on whether that's going to be something that's in your future. It can be a journey, but if you do the things that we tell you to do, you can get there. And a lot of people I've helped get to buy their house. A high debt ratio, what that means is that you've got too many debts, including your house, that may make it hard for you to sustain making your mortgage payment in a consistent manner. And unfortunately, the lenders are not very forgiving. If you don't pay your mortgage payment, they'll take the house away. And that's something you just don't want to go through. There's a lot of stress and strife and anxiety. So not a good idea. Having no job security. So if your job is not secure, if you don't feel like you're doing good at your job, or your boss doesn't like you or something like that, probably not a great idea to buy a house if you think you're going to be in the job market soon. The things that the lenders want specifically is job stability. So if you don't have job security, you're not going to be real keen for buying a house. And then this last line says, and renting being 50% cheaper. Some of the reasons include renting being 50% cheaper. I haven't seen that. I don't know why that's in this article. Unless you're really downgrading, I've seen the rent market going up higher sometimes than even the way interest rates are doing. The cost of renting is way more when you look at the big picture. You may be able to pay less per month, but you're getting nothing back. At least when you're buying something that's going to appreciate. I mean, look at the way the houses appreciated over the last, I think I read an article here that said over the last 5 years, home values in Houston increased by nearly 48%. That's crazy. Median sales price of a single family home in Houston is $314,000. That's from the Houston Association of Realtors, and that's in November 2021. Median single family homes in Houston have increased. I just think that if you are paying $2,000 a month for rent and $2,000 a month for a home, and you have the opportunity to improve that home and stay in that home, it's not even close what is the better place to be. Now, if you're not ready, there are a lot of people that aren't ready to buy a house. So if that's you, then just chill, wait, save, do everything you can to get your credit in as good a shape as you possibly can. And one of the things would be calling me, and I will do an analysis of what's going on with your credit, and we'll put you on the road to getting it corrected. All right. So mortgage rates. Today is a good day on the mortgage bond market, and rates actually got a little bit better today. The problem is the last 8 days have not been that great. We're still kind of vacillating in the mid fives. It can go with good credit. You can be in the low fives. With less than perfect credit, you can be in the mid to upper fives. I will tell you that in the scheme of things, if you look at this chart, that being in that's 5.3 right there. You can see at 5.3, you're way better than it's been in the last 30 or 40, 50 years. This is a 50-year chart. So you can see that people don't stop buying houses when rates are in the fives. Okay, they don't stop buying houses when they're in the sixes or the sevens or even the eights. So it's still a time when you can win this game. Now, again, it's not for everybody. You have to be ready to kind of do everything you can to make that house appreciate. But it's, I'll stand on the soapbox till the end of time and say that it is a good thing to buy in most cases. Then I go back and I'm going to finish up with my lock and shop story. The lock and shop, as I explained to you before, is simply a program that the lenders are allowing you to lock in a rate today for up to 90 days to find a house so that you can not suffer what happened. I mean, I just think about the people that in January, if they'd have had a lock and shop, they could have locked in rates at 3.5%, something to that effect, when the market's at 5%. So if you have any questions about knowing what the lock and shop is about, what you have to do, it's not hard. It doesn't cost money. It's very simple. All it's going to do is take a phone call, and you could call me. You got my phone number right there scrolling at the bottom of the screen. It's 281-348-9899. And other than that, let's see if there's another slide here. No, that's it. I don't have anything else. I am going to announce that I am going to be doing a credit restoration. I don't know if I want to call it credit restoration. How about I'll learn more about your credit and things that we can do about it as a webinar, and I'll get that email out to anybody that subscribes or that reaches out to us. I think it's important that we spend a session, probably be an hour-long webinar. We'll probably do a 30-minute presentation, then we'll answer questions for 30 minutes or so, and it should be kind of interesting on that. So anyway, I missed my friend Joe today. I'm sorry, but some guys got to work, man. Got to work out there in the boondocks, those hot houses. God bless him. I think he'd want to be more of a realtor today. At least he'd have his air conditioning in his car. But Joe, we missed you. Again, for those that came on, I appreciate you. I look forward to seeing you next week at 5 o'clock on Tuesday evening for Better Credit, Better Home. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.